this is Cold Turkey throwing down with Skyrim. Where did we leave off? Well, adventures with Lo-Kag. We have the Troll Fat and the Daedric heart, so we're going to complete this particular leg of the quest in this orc village, my orc hometown, if you will. But a dragon decides to attack before I can get into the hut and talk to the rogue chief who's been causing problems for this village. Yes, that's right. Lo-Kag is here to defend the honor of his orc hometown and make sure that the current chieftain really lives up to the orc standards that, Lo-Kag was taught ever since he was a little orcling.
My name's Lo-Kag, and when I was a little baby orcling, I was taught that orcs act a certain way.
That's right, Lo-Kag. You see, orcs have a code of behavior because they have their Daedric prince, Malacath, and he tells them, hey, this is how you behave if you're an orc. So you know what? That's how orcs roll. But outside of the game, real quick, Christmas was okay, and I'm making this on New Year's Eve, 31st of December. So all you party people out there, enjoy your New Year's and whatnot. Hopefully 2012 will be an awesome year. What kind of New Year's resolutions is old Cold Turkey making? Well, not too many. Hopefully by the end of 2012 I'll actually have found a decent MMO that I enjoy playing. Every single MMO I've tried within the last couple months has been nothing but boring, rehashed nonsense. Rather depressing. I've been sticking to single-player games, and admittedly I have been enjoying myself, and you combine that with the fact that I'm super busy in the real world, it kind of makes sense. So let's get back.
Yeah, Cold Turkey, stop talking about real life. We're here to talk about me, Lo-Kag, and his adventures in the world of Skyrim. So in this particular instance, now we will pray to Malacath with the necessary ingredients and see what he has to say about this pathetic orc chief who has brought on a curse to this town. Let's listen to what Malacath has to say.
You pathetic weakling.
Malacath's pissed. Uh-oh.
What's that?
Yeah, he's talking.
Malacath has heard my plans.
Yes,
He
that's
speaks
right.
to us.
Take it.
Alright, Lo-Kag. Hey, I get a chance to talk, and I'm talking over the speech of Malacath here.
What?
And he's dissing
What is
people.
this?
What do you got, Malacath?
You don't deserve to call yourself an orc.
You don't deserve to call yourself an orc. Weak.
You're
Small.
And you're
An embarrassment. Wow. Can you imagine if your boss at a job said you're weak, small, and an embarrassment?
Overrun my shrine.
No. Giants have overran
Bring
the
me
shrine.
their leader's club as an offering.
Bring the leader's club.
And I might release you
Okay,
from
right.
his
Alright, so
curse.
there we go. So you heard what Malacath had to say. We have got to go and destroy the giants that have taken over his temple and bring back the leader of the Giants Club as an offering. What do you think about that, Lo-Kag? I know you've been talking.
Shut up, Cold Turkey. Lo-Kag will be happy, more than happy, to squish pathetic giants with his mighty hammer. They stand no chance against my orc might, although this chief guy is, well, kind of a douche, you know.
Okay, Lo-Kag, I see where you're going. And that's actually a good point Lo-Kag made here. In this quest, what you find out is that the chief of this orc village really is a gigantic jerk, and honestly is an embarrassment to all orc kind. Conniving, double dealing, always trying to weasel his way out of things. Malacath's code says that an orc has to face his problems head on and just be direct and absolute. Some of it actually reminds me of the samurai code. The only reason I know that, of course, right now is because in the real world, well, I don't know if you'd call this real world or not, but outside of video game land, I am currently involved in a tabletop role-playing game, and the game of choice is Legend of the Five Rings, if any of my subscribers have heard of it. I've talked about it off and on here and there in the past 10 or so videos, but it's actually pretty fun. Get to play your samurai and go out there and do samurai things. Tabletop role-playing games are always kind of a different way to, I don't know, to me it's just about escapism. When you're playing a video game, you just want to have fun for an hour or two, or maybe if you play more video games than that, 3 or 4 or 6 or 12. But at the end of the day, hopefully it's about having fun. Unless, of course, it's by definition a competitive game, then it's about competition. You want to get out there, you want to beat the other guys, you want to be the best, have the high score. That's not really how I roll. So Lo-Kag's going through these caves with the orc chief, who is a total scumbag. And remember, these caves are the home of the giants, and our job is to get in here and to crush the leader of the giants, take his club back as an offering. So while we're going through the cave, looks like there's a giant over there. I'll let the orc chief go first. And he ran from the fight. Wow. Okay. I wonder if that's a bug. I wonder if the AI is bugged. Well, in the current patch, I don't think that's the case. That was weird, though. Anyway. So you go through the cave, you come out on the other end in this sort of little mini valley where it's really snowy and tree and pine foresty. What do you got, Chief? Excuse me. I just got over being sick, so I kind of might have to clear my throat every now and again and have a bit of a cough still. I've been sick a lot the last few months. But back to Lo-Kag. So, Lo-Kag now is dealing with the chief, who's trying to weasel out and be like, you do it for me, I'm a total wuss, blah blah blah. I tell ya, there's no end to the treachery of this guy. And I can already tell Lo-Kag's pretty pissed. So you get up here and you can see this is the Shrine of Malacath. That's a statue of him where the offerings would be made and whatnot. And this is the giant. And basically just run up to him and start power attacking him. And hopefully you'll be able to, cross your fingers, interrupt his attacks so frequently that he won't be able to auto one-shot you. And hopefully he'll kill the chief in the process. If he doesn't kill the chief, which is part of the storyline, then what's going to happen? Make sure to loot his hammer, Code of Malacath. Make sure to loot that and read it if you're interested in more kind of what's going on with orcs, how orcs work, things like that. But if the chief doesn't die, and you have to talk to him in order to get out of here, basically what the chief ends up saying is he's going to kill you and take credit for the giant, because you're, well, yeah. What do you think?
Lo-Kag is not happy about this. You die, pathetic weak orc chief. Lo-Kag has crushed your skull in a single attack.
Yamars was a fool.
Yes.
Always trying to scheme his way out of responsibility.
Yes, he was a fool. Lo-Kag agree.
Well, the giants took care of
The
it.
giants took care of him.
And you took care of the
Lo-Kag,
giants.
he was amazing. He took care of
Two
everything.
problems solved at once.
Absolutely. Yep.
Now, take Shagrel's hammer back
Okay.
to Larnishburg,
All right.
and we'll see about whipping the rest of them into
You
shape.
got it. So Malacath has spoken. So Lo-Kag did a good job of clearing out that, killing that guy because he's weak. Either way, he's going to die. Like I was saying earlier, whether it's in the fight with the giants or it's afterwards, if by chance he doesn't die, then he'll have to kill him anyway. So come back here and talk to her. Let's see what Malacath has to say about this situation. I'm sure he's going to be pretty happy. Well, maybe he'll be pretty happy. You know, he did lose a weak chief, and on top of that, the village is cursed. I think Atab is pretty happy. But anyway, let's figure out what's going on here. Atab, what's happening?
Yamars was a coward and a weak.
Malacath speaks again.
His deceitful ways have cost you all.
That is
greatly.
right. Lo-Kag agree.
So he has been punished.
Yeah,
And
he
what
has
of
been
us?
punished.
What
That's what you
fate
get
shall
for
we
going
suffer?
against your Daedric prince.
You'll have to prove yourselves.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to give you a chance.
Lord Malacath is wise to give strong
Governor
orcs another
Soldier
chance.
now. Let's hope he's a better chief.
Let's hope he doesn't suck.
You
Me.
place that hammer on the shrine.
Yes, Lord Malacath.
You're the only one who's proven worthy in all of this.
Lo-Kag agree. Lo-Kag is worthy. Lo-Kag will place the hammer on the shrine. Does Lo-Kag's eyes deceive him? It is Volendrung, the great and mighty warhammer of Malacath himself. Lo-Kag is happy. Happiest he has been since he was an orc babe, suckling on... Well, you get the point. But with this new hammer, Lo-Kag will smash his enemies into dust.
And that, my friends, is the start of a beautiful friendship. You see, Lo-Kag's an orc. He's all about wielding big two-handed things that smash people. Look at him jumping up and down. Woo! Wee-hee! Waha! He's so ecstatic and happy. Now, Volendrung is a great weapon, don't get me wrong. And its enchantment's powerful, it looks cool, and it's just got that orc kind of a flavor. And I'll be honest with you, this is the weapon of choice that I believe Lo-Kag is going to be using for the rest of his career. Now, some people might say, well, Cold Turkey, you know, technically there's this one weapon that has 2 more DPS, and blah, 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 blah. Once again, I'm not here to power game or any of that nonsense. No, sir. I'm trying to roleplay Lo-Kag to some degree. Obviously, I'm not perfect. Trying to figure out what he would do in this situation. So, now that we have Volendrung, I probably mispronounced that. Now that we have that awesome sweet hammer of awesome doom, the next thing is we're going to go up the mountain and we're going to talk to the Greybeards. This is part of the main storyline, main quest line. You have to go up, I think it's the 1,000 steps or the 100 steps or something like that. And when you first start out, it's by this little town. It's kind of autumny and foresty. You might see the odd creature here and there. Then as you go more and more up in elevation, you'll notice it gets a lot more wintry and blustery and coldy and snowy and things like that. So Greybeards is the next stop. You'll also notice that I took the time to take all the orc armor. Orc armor looks pretty sweet, especially on orcs. But at the end of the day, it's not the armor I think Lo-Kag's going to go with, which is a good chance to talk about that, because I always want to take time to up my smithing. And smithing can actually be relatively easy to level up in this game. I mean, I'm sure everybody who's listening has heard about the trick and watched all the YouTube videos and all these things. But basically all you need is leather and some iron. And once you get leather and iron, you can make iron daggers, because it just takes like 1 of each. Your ingots, your leather, and then you make a couple hundred of those. Your mining gets up to 100. Daedric armor is at 90. Dragon armor is at 100. Excuse me. So what's the difference between Daedric armor and dragon armor? You would assume since dragon armor is at 100 and Daedric is at 90, that dragon would be quote-unquote better. Well, dragon armor has heavy and light armor, whereas Daedric armor only has heavy armor. Technically, Daedric armor does provide slightly more defense than dragon armor. It's not that big if you actually compare the numbers, in my opinion. Maybe in some people's opinion it is big. I don't think it is. The other thing, of course, is that dragon armor is the only one of the two that can provide light. But I think the biggest reason is the resources. Dragon armor is very easy to make, because in this game you're always going around killing dragons. Dragons are attacking you, you're killing them, which means you're getting dragon scales and dragon bones constantly throughout the game. This, of course, means that the ingredients you need for dragon armor, by the time that you can make dragon armor, are already in your inventory. So basically dragon armor, for lack of a better way to say it, is free to make, and it's the second best armor in the game by a very short margin. So of course it's going to be the 100 smithing. Daedric armor 90. Now Daedric's not that tough to make either, but on a scale of easy, medium, hard, or however you want to scale it, technically Daedra hearts for the Daedric armor are a little bit tougher to get. Yes, you can farm them from certain locations, and you can go to merchants and purchase them for semi-large amounts of gold, but gold's not too hard to come by. So some people say, well, I don't think Daedric armor is that hard to get, but it is more difficult to get. It's in a space kind of a relativity thing when you compare it to the ingredients for dragon armor. So the moral of the story, because I've been blabbing on about this for a real long time, is just get your smithing up and make what armor you want to make and what you want to wear and what looks cool. I think Lo-Kag is going to have a phase where he goes through dragon armor and a phase where he goes through Daedric armor, and we'll see what he ends up liking the most. So let's get back to the Greybeards here. So when you get up in here, it's pretty obvious who the guy you have to talk to is. You chat with them, you show him that you can indeed use shouts, and then he'll have you learn some new shouts, practice these new shouts in situations, so you can go through all that, and they'll give you some extra powers, and they'll give you a new shout, the Whirlwind Sprint, which will be coming up here pretty soon. And ultimately, these Greybeards, I think they're pretty cool dudes, but as you go through the game, you might find out some things. I won't give any huge mega plot spoilers, but most people watching this have probably already beaten Skyrim. I mean, it's been out long enough, I think Skyrim is more enjoyable, not from the sense that you can burn through the main quest line in, a day or two. I mean, you could do that with Fallout New Vegas as well. It's about all the other quests and all the other dungeons and all the things you can explore and the items you can get, and it's just crazy because it's just such a massive world within the game. I think it's pretty awesome. Anyway, so you talk to these Greybeards, and they're going to set you up with all this new stuff, and then they're going to tell you a little bit about kind of what the Dragonborn is and what they think you are and why you're here. In case you're wondering more about the lore of the game, really good opportunity to explore that kind of thing. And then once you're done with this, you're just going to be moving on more with the main quest line. Now, from Lo-Kag's standpoint, now that he knows more what he is, what's going on with all this stuff, he might not go and continue the main quest line right away. So like I was saying earlier with you get new shouts, so Whirlwind Sprint, this is kind of a good one to aid travel. I personally love Whirlwind Sprint. You're sprinting down the road, you run out of stamina, hit Whirlwind Sprint to give you that little extra boost of movement. Of course, that's assuming you don't have a horse. You can't use Whirlwind Sprint when you're on top of your horse. But that's a whole other argument for a different time. Personally, I don't mind using horses. I just don't think Lo-Kag, from a role-playing standpoint, would use them. Anyway, so we got Whirlwind Sprint. We used it. We've proved to these guys that, hey, I'm not a complete chump. And then his next quest is going to be, you got to find this horn from this dungeon. The horn of, what's his, Windcaller, Jorgen. I'm sure the quest text will appear in a few seconds, or already has. I'm not even paying attention at this point. But basically, we got to go get the horn. But there's other things that Lo-Kag might want to do in the meantime and in between time. So, as I was saying earlier, here it is. Wait, completed the Way of the Voice. Okay, come on, give me the new one. Okay, the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller. I probably mispronounced that and butchered it, but hey, who cares, right? So, everybody had hopefully happy holidays and a happy new year. 2012 is going to be awesome. This is Cold Turkey. Thanks for watching.